Pranam to you and all the assembled devotees. Guru Maharaj ki jai, Prabhupada ki jai. This is Shivani from Ashwin, Virginia. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Shivani Mataji, Dandavas Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you, Mataji, for joining Bhakti Sangha conference call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Bhagavi Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Guru Maharajas, and all glories to the assembled devotees. This is Tiffany in Pennsylvania. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Tiffany Mataji, Dandavas Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining Bhakti Sangha conference call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, Dandvat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, Shri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to the assembled devotees. Yashamati from Chicago.
Hare Krishna, Yashamati Mataji, Dandavas Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you, Mataji, for joining Bhakti Sangha conference call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Bhargavi Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj. This is Shyamaguri Devidasi from Charlotte.
Hare Krishna, Shyamaguri Mataji, Dandavas Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining Bhakti Sangha conference call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Bhargavi Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. This is Vinita Gandarvika Devidasi from Texas. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Vinita Gandarvika Mataji, Dandavas Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining Bhakti Sangha conference call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Prabhupada, all glories to Guru Maharaj, all glories to assembled devotees. This is Mohini Lakshmi from Detroit.
Hare Krishna, Mohini Lakshmi Mataji, Dandavas Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining Bhakti Sangha conference call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Bhargavi Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Gurudev. This is Radha from Baltimore.
Hare Krishna, Radha Mataji, Dandavas Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you, Mataji, for joining Bhakti Sangha conference call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Bhargavi Mataji, all glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. My humble obeisances to you and all the devotees. This is Krishna Kumari Devyasi from Ghana.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Kumari Mataji, Dandavas Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining Bhakti Sangha conference call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. This is Valli from Naperville, Chicago. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Valli Mataji, Dandavas Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining Bhakti Sangha conference call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, all devotees. This is Haridas Variadas joining from Mayapur. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Haridas Prabhuji, Dandavas Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you, Prabhuji, for joining Bhakti Sangha conference call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Bhargavi Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and all the assembled devotees. This is Indulekha Karuna Devi Dasi from Lincoln.
Hare Krishna, Indulekha Karuna Mataji, Dandavas Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining Bhakti Sangha conference call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All goes to Srila Prabhupada. This is Varna from Atlanta, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Vardhana Mataji, Dandavas Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining Bhakti Sangha conference call. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Is there anyone who would like to introduce on the call?
Shall we start recording, Mataji? Prabhuji is
here. Yes, Mataji. Okay, welcome all of you, everyone, for joining today's Srimad Bhagavatam class. Today, really we are fortunate to have Pavaneshwar Prabhuji to enlighten us on the topic of Srimad Bhagavatam from 5.16.2 onwards. So before I hand over the call to Prabhuji, I would like to hand over the call to Tiffany Mataji to give a brief introduction on Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Bhagavi Mataji. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. I'd like to introduce His Grace Pavaneshwar Prabhuji, who is a senior brahmachari devotee residing in Mumbai, India. He is part of the Vedic Cosmology team, where he works closely with His Grace Vamsi Das Prabhuji regarding translation of Surya Siddhanta, Vamsidas Prabhuji is a scientist working in Rochester, Minnesota. Prabhuji also teaches at the Bhaktivedanta Academy for the Culture and Education at Sri Sri Radha Gopinath Mandir. He also teaches courses on Sri Ishopanishad, Nectar of Instruction, Nectar of Devotion, Bhagavad Gita, and Srimad Bhagavatam. Pavaneshwar Prabhuji graduated from the Indian Institute of Science with a master's in electrical engineering. He graduated with honors as a gold medalist, an academic distinction rarely achieved. His interest in cosmology studies has led him to elaborate on the design and structure of the universe as described in the 5th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Working with a team of students at Bhaktivedanta Vidyapit at Govardhan Eco Village in Mumbai, India, Pavaneshwar Das Prabhuji and team systematically understood and elaborated the Vedic cosmos, thus resulting in the release of his book called Bhagavata Cosmology. This book has been very well researched and exhaustive, and it's covering cosmology topics from the 5th canto. His Bhagavata Cosmology series is also very popular on YouTube, serving as a guidance for those who desire to study complex Vedic cosmology. Hare Krishna, welcome to the call, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you so much for the introduction. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Please accept all of our humble obeisances. Thank you, Prabhuji, for giving your valuable time and association in this call. I hand over the call to you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much for the kind introduction and inviting me for this. So, is my voice audible enough?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Thank you. So, before
it's
starting,
clear, Prabhu, but it's breaking.
Okay, now?
Yes, Prabhuji, now it's better.
And you are able to see the slides also?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes.
Yeah. So before beginning, let us offer prayers. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimmirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Ena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadameyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamsha. Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam. Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam. Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakhanvitamsha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Itinamine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine. Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradhayate. Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gauratishe Namaha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandho Jagatpate. Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute. Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari. Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye. Vanchakalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha. Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda. Sri Advaita Gadadara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much for joining us for today's today onwards, whatever we do in the next couple of weeks. So, and first of all, I would like to express my gratitude to all of you that all of you are so eager to study and understand the so-called technical topic of Srimad Bhagavatam from Canto 5, and whatever time we have in upcoming days and weeks also, we'll try to see what Srimad Bhagavatam is trying to teach us in relation to this universe. So we'll try to get into step by step, slowly. So as it was introduced, this is my project, which I have taken up during our 2 years study course known as Bhaktivedanta Vidyapit at Govardhan Eco Village, Mumbai. So during the last semester, we were supposed to take up a project. So me, along with me, few more devotees, all of us joined together trying to understand the subject matter and trying to help others to understand. So as a result of that work, which we have done, I think in the year 2014, and eventually it kind of continuously getting improved, and which transformed into a 3D model book and further subsequent books we are yet to publish, etc. So still we are working on it. Hopefully it will be of some use for TOOP, but for the time being, we are presenting it various places in order to help our devotees to understand this so-called technical subject matter. So in our presentation, we have 4 parts. So where in the first part, we will discuss about the Bhumandala. In the second part, we will discuss further about Bhumandala, but from a book compiled by one of the Madhva scholars known as Srila Vadiraj Tirtha. The book entitled as Bhugola Varnanam. From that we will see in the part 2. And then part 3 we will see the vertical structure of the universe, description about the 14 planetary systems. And in the part 4, we will try to understand the Vedic understanding of the modern astronomy. So all of us, beginning with our school days, we have studied so much about our modern astronomy. So what Bhagavatam talks about that modern astronomy? What is there in the Bhagavatam? So that's why we have kind of given a tagline, Vedic alternative to modern astronomy. This entire subject matter is like, we are trying to present the Vedic perspective of modern astronomy. So, so request all of you to stay with us for the next couple of weeks or whatever. So if you miss somewhere in between, it will be difficult to catch up with the link. So if possible, try not to feel that this is too technical. Wherever you have any doubt, you can stop me and we can discuss. Or if that is not the usual procedure, you can write down the questions or doubts, and whenever we open for question answers, then we will try to address all those doubts and clarifications. So with this introduction, let us get into the subject matter. At the end of the first canto, Srila Pariksit Maharaj understood that he has been cursed by Shrungi to die within 7 days, giving all the responsibilities of the entire kingdom to his son Janmejaya. Pariksit Maharaj went to the bank of Ganga and started fasting till death. And eventually, by the will of the providence, Sukadeva Goswami arrives there. Pariksit Maharaj requests him that what he is supposed to do, since he has only 7 days, in order to attain the perfection of human life. So for which Sukadeva Goswami said that, my dear Pariksit, you need to hear Bhagavatam. You need to hear Krishna Katha or Bhagavat Katha. Then Pariksit Maharaj says that if I need to hear Krishna Katha or Bhagavat Katha, please discuss Krishna Katha, starting with creation pastimes. So then Sukadeva Goswami kind of introduces the creation pastimes, taking reference from the conversation that took place between Lord Brahma and Narada long ago. And wherein Lord Brahma talks about the creation of the universe, also talks about the pastimes of Lord's various avatars in brief. then he stops. Then Pariksit Maharaj asks various questions in relation to Bhagavan and Bhakti, the process which he is supposed to practice now, which consists of Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atmanivadhanam, etc. So then, having heard so many questions at one go, Sri Sukadeva Goswami says that I need to speak to you Srimad Bhagavatam, which was originally spoken by Lord Brahma, which was originally spoken by Lord Narayana unto Lord Brahma in 4 slokas. But that Bhagavatam contains 10 principal characteristics. So having introduced the 4 slokas in the 9th chapter of the 2nd canto, in the 10th chapter of the 2nd canto, Sukadeva Goswami introduces those 10 topics. Atra sarga visargascha sthanam poshanamutaya manvantaresha anukata nirodho muktirasharya. Dashamasya vishuddhartam navana mihalakshanam varnayanti mahatmana frutena artena anjasa. So he says that Srimad Bhagavatam consists of 10 topics. Sarga, Visarga, Sthanam, Poshana, Uti, Manvantara, Nirodha, Mukti, Ashraya, etc. And these topics were discussed by Maitreya unto Vidura. So, having mentioned that, he begins 3rd canto, introducing the conversation that took place between Vidura and Maitreya, and then he continues ahead with the conversation, wherein in the 3rd canto, he talks about Sarga, the primary creation of unlimited number of universes by Mahavishnu, and then manifestation of multiple planetary systems within each and every universe by Garbhodakashaya Vishnu and hence Brahma, and eventually by Brahma. That was all about the primary creation of the universes by Lord Vishnu, Mahavishnu and Garbhodakashaya Vishnu combined together. Then the 3rd canto and continuing with 4th canto and all the way up to the middle of 5th canto, Srila, of course, Maitreya Muni, quoting Maitreya Muni, Sri Sukadeva Goswami talks about Visarga, the secondary creation of different variety of living entities who are inhabiting throughout the 14 planetary systems of our universe. And then how the creation will continue on. In order to give an example, the lineage of Swayambhu Manu has been narrated starting from the beginning of the 4th canto till the end of the 15th chapter of the 5th canto. Since the Swayambhu Manu had 5 children, out of which 3 daughters, and daughters' lineage was mentioned in the first 7 chapters of the 4th canto, and the son Uttanapada, his lineage is mentioned in the remaining part of the 4th canto, and Priyavrata's lineage is mentioned in the remaining in the first half of the 5th canto. So in that way, the first 2 topics known as Sarga, the primary creation of unlimited universes by Vishnu, and then Visarga, the secondary creation of different variety of living entities by Lord Brahma, and even eventually by the children of Lord Brahma, how the creation continues on. Now, starting with 16th chapter of the 5th canto, the 3rd topic is being presented. The remaining half of the 5th canto talks about the 3rd topic of Bhagavatam, known as Sthanam, wherein we will try to understand how Lord Vishnu maintains and protects all the living entities that are living in the 14 planetary systems of our universe. So this subject matter basically deals with the subject matter of maintenance, which is the main service of Kshirodakshaya Vishnu, who is one among the 3 principal deities of our universe. Brahma creates, Vishnu maintains, Shiva annihilates. So the maintenance aspect of the entire universe is being presented in the 3rd topic of Srimad Bhagavatam, known as Sthanam. So Sukadeva Goswami defines Sthanam as Stitir Vaikunta Vijaya. Sthanam stands for the general protection of all living entities who are living throughout the universe. So Sthiti means the situation of all the living entities who are residing at various places of the universe. Basically, under what circumstances different variety of living entities are living at different places of our universe. That is Sthiti, their situation. And this situation of different living entities is Vaikunta Vijaya. This shows providing different facilities for different variety of living entities shows Lord Vishnu's excellence in maintenance over Lord Brahma's creation and Lord Shiva's annihilation. So this is one of the Herculean tasks which will be taken care by Lord Vishnu in order to take care and maintain the living entities for the entire day of Brahma. At the beginning of the day, Brahma creates. At the end of the day, Lord Shiva annihilates. But throughout the day of Brahma, Lord Vishnu need to maintain the entire universe, which lasts for 1000 Chatur Yugas. It is a huge time. So, Sthiti means conditions of the Jivas. Vaikunta Vijaya is Lord, by providing convenient and suitable facilities for different variety of living entities, he destroys their suffering in this material world. So, though it is talking about the conditions of different living entities, but it is only a brief overview of the geography of our universe and its protection by the Devatas, who are responsible and who are authorized by Lord Vishnu to look after directly about the maintenance of the universe. The maintenance of the inhabitants of Bhuloka, Bhuvarloka and Swargaloka, who are situated there with their respective rules and regulations. So the Devatas are actually basically looking after the maintenance of Bhuloka, Bhuvarloka and Swargaloka, and every abode has their respective rules and regulations to be followed by the residents of that particular location. But overall, it is maintained by the Devatas under the direction and under the supervision of Kshirodakshaya Vishnu. So this is the principal subject matter of Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the third topic known as Sthanam. So why does this entire topic has begun in Srimad Bhagavatam? Why is it being spoken by Sukadeva Goswami and to Pariksit Maharaj, who is about to depart in 7 days? So in the very first few verses, verse number 1, 2, 3, as the poster introduces that we are going to discuss about verse number 2 of the 16th chapter of 5th canto. But anyway, we will see all the 3 verses together, wherein Pariksit Maharaj is asking Sukadeva Goswami, in Bhumandala, 7 oceans were created by the 7 ditches made by Priyavrata's chariot wheel, from which 7 islands appeared. This was the inquiry. Then he continues, I desire to know all about the oceans and islands with their measurements and qualities. Having heard about the lineage and different dynasties and activities of different descendants of Priavrata Maharaj, such as Priavrata himself, Agnidra, and Nabi, and Ambarish Maharaj, and then Rishabdev, and then Rishabdev's son Bharat Maharaj, and then eventually many other descendants of Bharat Maharaj, etc. He had heard, and suddenly from nowhere he get this question that I want to hear about that divisions of the Bhumandala, which had been divided into 7 islands by creating 7 oceans, which are due to the ditches created by the chariot wheel of Priavrata Maharaj. So why he is asking this question? It is said that Pariksit Maharaj inquires about the dimensions of the islands and of the oceans, which he had heard about in the story of Priavrata Maharaj in Srimad Bhagavatam Canto 5, Chapter 1, text number 30. And he patiently waited till the topic of Priavrata Maharaj gets completed. Since the description about Priavrata Maharaj and his dynasty is completed in the previous chapter, now taking a clue that he had heard about something which Priavrata Maharaj did long back when he was the ruler of the entire Bhumandala. So now he is raising up that point. I would like to hear about those divisions along with their dimensions, characteristics, and people inhabiting those places, etc., etc., etc. Can you please talk about them? So like that, now Srila Pariksit Maharaj is raising that question about which he had heard long back. So then the one might have the doubt, why he could have continued hearing about the kings and their activities, nice stories going on. Why is one to get into this topic? Then he says that mind fixed on the Lord's gross form can absorb itself in the Brahman, Bhagavan, Vasudeva, light of the soul, who is situated beyond the purview of matter. Therefore, you should explain the structure of the universe. So, Pariksit Maharaj is inspiring Srila Sukadeva Goswami that, my dear sir, please talk about this universe, which is the manifestation of the external energy of the Supreme Lord, and which is considered as one of the incarnation by the Jnanis or Yogis, who prefer to contemplate upon this universal form for their spiritual progress. There are so many such kind of yogis are seated in this assembly. So for their benefit, you talk about it, because generally whatever we hear about for longer period of time, that is where our mind focuses on. Whatever we hear continuously day after day, day after day after day, our mind continuously it's about subject matter. So now, long back in the second canto, second chapter, you talked about how the yogis with some material attachments who cannot meditate upon Paramatma in the heart, in the core of the heart, they were advised to meditate upon the universal form. You also talked about that different planetary systems in the entire universe are compared with the different body limbs of the Supreme Lord. Like the base of the feet, the soles of the feet are like Patala, as gradually the entire legs portion is like the lower 7 planetary systems, and the abdomen is like Bhuloka, and then gradually coming upward, the navel is Bhuvarloka, the chest is Svargaloka, and then the throat is like Maharloka, then the two lips is like Janaloka, then eyes are like Tapaloka, and forehead is like Satyaloka, like that you are presented. So that is the bona fide way of meditating on the universal form for the yogis who had some kind of attachment for this material world. But by meditating upon that universal form, all their attachments, all their misgivings can be clarified, and then they can by meditate upon Paramatma in the core of the heart and can attain perfection following the path of light as it is described in Bhagavad Gita chapter 8. They can attain perfection of their life. So that was being told in the second chapter of the second canto. So remembering that, and also remembering what Priavrata Maharaj did some time back in the first chapter of the fifth canto. So Pariksit Maharaj says that for the benefit of such yogis who are sitting in this assembly, may you kindly describe the structure of this universe so that their meditation can become fixed, and then they can attain perfection. At the same time, this universe is the manifestation of Supreme Lord. By hearing about it, we can also develop more attraction towards the Supreme Lord's wonderful pastimes, and we can also get to understand the greatness of the Supreme Lord. Like that, everyone, the Jnanis can gain knowledge, the yogis can gain knowledge, the devotees can gain knowledge. So for the benefit of all different category of people who are sitting in this assembly, may you please discuss this subject matter. So with this request, Srila Pariksit Maharaj inspires Srila Sukadeva Goswami to discuss about the structure of the universe. So this was the inquiry and this was the request. And having heard this inquiry and having accepted the request of Pariksit Maharaj, Sukadeva Goswami begins his discussion. Srila Sukadeva Goswami says, my dear king, there is no limit to the expansion of the Supreme Lord's material energy. This material world is a transformation of the material qualities, that is Sattva-guna, Rajoguna and Tamaguna, 3 modes of material nature. Yet, no one could possibly explain it perfectly, even in a lifetime as long as that of Brahma. Even if a person is given the lifespan of Lord Brahma, still they will not be able to explain the structure of the universe in complete details. It is very difficult because the universe is so vast, it is very difficult to describe it even within the lifespan of Lord Brahma. Lord Brahma's 100 full years. So then what to speak of us? You just have 7 days and I also don't have much time. But in order to pacify Pariksit Maharaj, Sukadeva Goswami says, therefore, by giving a general description, I will explain the particulars of Bhuloka, giving characteristics of name, shape, and dimensions. So, my dear Pariksit, anyway, I can't explain about this universe in completeness, with full details, but I will briefly describe the important aspects of this universe, talking about its principal characteristics of name, form, shape, dimensions, and the people who are living there, etc. etc. Some brief details, the 2 important aspects of this universe. I will briefly touch upon them, and that is what I can do. I cannot go into details. So with this assurance, Sukadeva Goswami moves on. Sukadeva Goswami goes ahead of the discussion. So now, at the end of our project, so in order to help our batchmates to understand what is the spiritual significance of this subject matter and what is the purpose of Sukadeva Goswami speaking the subject matter, we have outlined 4 points here. The purpose with which Srila Sukadeva Goswami is describing what is being said in the 5th canto of Bhagavatam is to show us the primary engagement of different people who are living at different locations within our universe. So in this canto, the later part of the canto 5, we see Sukadeva Goswami goes into more details about the prayers offered by different residents of different locations. So indirectly telling that all over the universe, they are practicing bhakti only. So you also practice bhakti. So indirectly is indicating us, all of them are practicing bhakti and perfecting their life. If you also following in their footsteps, practice bhakti and will attain perfection. So that is kind of purpose in Srila Sukadeva Goswami is describing the details of this structure of the universe. And Bhagavatam talks about an overview of different geographical locations. Bhagavatam does not go into details. There are many missing links. Just by reading Bhagavatam, we cannot get the complete picture of the universe, but we can get the important aspects, the very, very crucial and very, very important points of the universe. So in order to connect the missing links, we need to take shelter of other Puranas, we need to take shelter of Ramayana, Mahabharata, and the writings of other Acharyas, etc. So with the information which is mentioned elsewhere, by connecting all of things together, we may get an appreciable understanding of the structure of our universe. And then, what is the intention? To increase our appreciation towards the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Generally, we hear the proverb saying that God is great, but unless until we hear such kind of subject matter such as the creation pastimes of Supreme Lord in the 2nd and 3rd cantos and the maintenance pastimes of Supreme Lord in the 5th canto, etc., etc., we cannot understand how much the God is great. And Srila Prabhupada, during his purports in the 2nd canto and 3rd canto, many places says that unless until we understand the greatness of the Supreme Lord, we cannot appreciate his sweetness. Because 10th canto talks about the very, very, very simple, naughty, sweet pastimes of Gopal, the infant baby Krishna. So if you don't understand who he is, what is his greatness, by reading through the 10th canto pastimes, we may say that, okay, these are the same as my son's pastimes. My son also does same activities. What is so special about Krishna's activities? Such kind of misunderstanding might come. But if you go through systematically, starting with canto 1 all the way up to canto 9, after thoroughly we have understood that who this personality is, then whatever small thing he does, as it is mentioned in the canto, everything becomes a wonder. So with that purpose, we need to study through the subject matter systematically and giving some time, so that we can appreciate or we can increase our appreciation towards the Supreme Lord. And finally, transcendental. So many times the readers of Bhagavatam, they might want to skip through these technical topics in the second canto or third canto or fifth canto, stating that, okay, these are all topics about this material world, these are all material topics. Why do we need to study them? This is like general tendency. Let us get into sixth canto. Let us hear the glories of holy name from Ajamil pastime. So that is general tendency of stepping over such kind of technical topics. But everything in connection with the Supreme Lord is transcendental. There is nothing in this world that does not have connection with the Supreme Lord. This material world is created by the Supreme Lord. It is maintained by the Supreme Lord. It is non-different from the Supreme Lord. So it is not a material subject matter. It is a spiritual subject matter. It is worth reading subject matter, reading which we will have, we will increase our appreciation toward the Supreme Lord. So that is the whole idea. As Lord Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Janma karma cha me divyam evam yo veti tattvataha taktva deha punarjanma naiti mameti. So Arjuna, those who tries to understand my transcendental birth or appearance and transcendental pastimes will not take birth again in this material world. So this is what he says in the 4th chapter of Bhagavad Gita in verse 9. Then he says in the 10th verse, immediately the next verse, Vitaraga Bayakroda Manmaya Ma Upashita Bahavo Jnana Tapasa Puta Madbhava Magata. Bahavo, many great transcendentalists in the past, in order to understand about my birth, the transcendental nature of my birth and the transcendental nature of my activities, they have undertaken a great austerity of Jnana Tapasa. So the meaning of Jnana Tapasa means those who undertake the austerity of trying to understand the transcendental nature of birth and activities of the Supreme Lord in Tattvataha Puta Madhava Magata. Very soon, having purified their material existence, will attain my transcendental nature. That means they will come to my spiritual abode and they will become one of my eternal associate, having attained my nature, because that means having become one of the Lord associates in Sarupya Mukti or Salokya Mukti or whatever, in that way. So that is the intent. So this is the subject matter of Canto 5 is Divya Karma of the Supreme Lord, hearing which one can go back to Godhead. It is no less powerful than Krishna's sweet pastimes. And then at the conclusion of his conversation with his dearmost son, Narada Muni, Lord Brahma says the last verse of the 7th chapter of 2nd canto, wherein Lord Brahma says, this is the last verse, Mayam Varnayoto Amusha Ishwarasya Anumodata Shrunvato Shraddhaya Nityam Maya Atmana Mujhati. He says that those devotees are those hearers who sincerely hear Mayam Varnayo Tamusha Ishwarasya Anumodata Shrunvato Shraddhaya who sincerely hear with complete faith. How frequently? Nityam, regularly. About what? Mayam Varnayato Amushya Ishwarasyan Modata. The pastimes of the Supreme Lord in relation to the material energy, Maya, Mahamaya. The pastimes such as creation, maintenance, and annihilation of this material universe, which the Lord personally does. Whoever hears these pastimes of the Supreme Lord with complete faith regularly, Maya Atmanamuyati. Such kind of people are not bewildered by Maya. So that is kind of Falashruti which Lord Brahma pronounces in the very second canto. So taking these two as a clue, these two references as a clue for us to continue on the subject matter in this journey. So try not to feel at any point of time getting bored or feeling suffocated, etc. So make an endeavor, small endeavor to understand the subject matter. I'll give you one statistics kind of thing. At least in the written history, in the written recorded history, from last 2500 years, the scientists are working hard to try to understand the entire universe. Starting with Aristotle, Plato, etc. That's what we have the recorded histories. Before 500 BC, these people were working on this subject matter, trying to understand what this universe is all about, what are the stars, what are the planets, how they are revolving, etc., etc., etc. Still research is going on. Many scientists have dedicated their entire life to understand this subject matter. So we, being the devotees of the Supreme Lord, whatever is mentioned in the Bhagavatam, let us also invest some time to understand what is there in the Bhagavatam about this universe, for which the scientists are dedicating their entire lives for generation after generation for 2500 years, 25 centuries. So just take a clue from that and pay an attention to the subject matter. So before beginning our discussion, here is a small video from the team of His Holiness Danavir Goswami Maharaj. A decade back, he already released a video known as Vedic Cosmos, and then now they want to update that video with modern technology, etc. And this is a trailer of the same. Just 1 minute video.
The night sky, the dark blanket above our heads adorned with shining stars, extending as far as the eye can see. The beauty and the majesty of the universe have inspired awe and reverence in the best brains throughout history. Many millennia ago, an advanced civilization revealed the mystery of the origin and nature of the cosmos. The universe is made up of 14 vertically arranged planetary systems or lokas. In the center of Jambudvip stands the most extraordinary divine golden mountain, Meru. The sun evaporates water from all over the creation and uses it as fuel. The Vedic literatures answer the question whether the cosmos always existed or it had a beginning. On the ocean, Vishnu expansion reclined on a serpent bed. From his navel arose a lotus on which Brahma was born. The super-intelligent being, Vishnu, reclining in mystic slumber amid the causal ocean. When he exhales, millions of universes issue from his body and expand, until he inhales when all the universes return within him.
So, out of unlimited universes that Lord Mahavishnu had created, as it is shown in the small video trailer, we are going to discuss about one universe in which all of us are residing. So this is our universe. Here is Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. From his navel came a lotus. On top of that, Lord Brahma appeared, and he divided that lotus into 14 planetary systems known as Bhuloka, Bhuvarloka, Svargaloka, Maharloka, Janaloka, Tapaloka, Satyaloka, and then Atala, Vitala, Sutala, Talatala, Mahatala, Rasatala, and Patala. So in our discussion for the upcoming classes, we are going to discuss about all these 14 planetary systems to the extent whatever details that have been presented in the Bhagavatam. That much we will discuss. Maybe here and there we will also add some references from other Vedic literatures also. And this universe of ours is covered by 7 universal layers made up of earth, water, fire, air, ether, the 5 Panchamahabhutas. The 6th layer is that of Ahankara. The 7th layer is that of Mahatattva. So the 7 layers, 7 layered universe covers our universe consisting of 14 planetary system. So this is our subject matter of discussion. So this entire universe of ours can be compared with a lotus flower coming out of a lotus pond. So this is our universe. Just one step back. Here we have a universe made up of 14 planetary systems, which is inside covered by 7 layers. So kindly remember that. This is our universe. The entire lotus is analogous to 14 planetary systems, and the circular covering is our universal shell, and this is our entire universe, within which this lotus flower has a lotus leaf. This lotus leaf is analogous to Bhumandala or Bhuloka. The middlemost out of the 14 planetary systems is known as Bhuloka. That Bhuloka is compared to this lotus leaf, which is located just above the water, and this water is compared to the Garbhodaka ocean. And the 14 planetary systems are situated in the flower, stem, and the lotus leaf, etc., etc. The entire thing is like that. So to be more precise, this is our universe. So this is the universal outer portion. Within our universe, the lower half is filled with Garbhodaka ocean, and just above the water, we have the lotus leaf, which is spread all across. That is compared to the Bhuloka or Bhumandala. And then middle of that comes out the stem, which is connected to a flower on the top. And this flower and stem and the leaf, everything put together are the 14 lokas within our universe, out of which the leaf is Bhumandala, Bhuloka. So to start our discussion, we will discuss with the Bhumandala. We'll start our discussion with the descriptions of the Bhumandala. Out of 14 planetary systems, we will give good amount of time to understand the Bhumandala, and then eventually we'll also understand the remaining 13 planetary systems in due course of time. So before getting into the details of Bhumandala, some mathematics and some details about engineering drawing, which will help us understand what we are looking at. So this is some basic information only. Those who have gone through engineering, they will understand it very easily. For others also, it is not so difficult. For example, here is an object, and I have here a AC remote. So if I see the AC remote some certain angle, so that is called isometric view. Like this. This is a 3D object which is seen from this side. From here it is seen. So when you see it like this, that is called isometric view. You see all the directions. But when you go to the front side, this side, when you see this object only from this side, what do you see? It looks like this. The entire shape of this picture from this side, only from the front side of it, as we say, this portion appears to be like this. But there is some portions cut here. And as you look down inside, there is some kind of inverted L is there. So something like that. As you see from this side, it looks like this. But the same thing when you come towards your left hand side and look into it, there is a normal L here, and the step structure is there. So this rectangle you see, and then you see this rectangle, and those two are seen here and here. But the same picture when you go to the top and you look down, this L portion is seen here. And you see this rectangle and this rectangle. So it appears like this. This is a normal 3D picture, but when you see this side, this is called front view. It looks like this. When you see from this side, this is called side view. It looks like this. When you see from the top, this entire picture looks like this. This is called top view. For our universe also, we'll be mentioning that what is our vision, from which side we are looking into our universe. So based on that, we need to understand where we are looking into it. So now this is another picture. This is the normal 3D picture, which is like a solid block, wooden block or something like that. It looks like a staircase kind of thing. So when you see it from the right side, this is our right hand side. From this side, when you see, we see this rectangle, and this rectangle. It appears to be like the 3 rectangles. When you see from the front side, from this side, it appears to be like a staircase, simple staircase. But when you see from the top, it appears to be like 3 rectangles, 3 horizontal rectangles like this. So these are the different visions of a 3D object in 2D maps. The same thing we do with our universe. This is the isometric view of our universe, looking from above at an angle. We are looking from above as a third person, looking downward to our universe. It appears to be like this. But the same universe, when you come to go to the top, from the top when you look down, this entire green leaf, we see like this. And we also see a flower. And the stem is beneath the flower, that we can't see, as you see from the top. And same thing when you come to the front side of the universe, we see it like this. We see the flower stem, but this Bhumandala looks like a small strip. But here you see the strip also, and surface also we see. But when you come to the front, exactly in the front, you just see a strip. And below the water. This is the same vision when you go to the left hand side also, even when you come to the right hand side also. In all 3 directions, so this is what we see. Okay. There is one query from chat box. So the question is, does it mean our Bhuloka is not inside the stem, unlike other upper planets? So kindly understand, we have not gone into the details yet. We are just trying to understand the entire thing with an example. And to be more precise, nothing is inside the stem. Everything is manifested from the stem. Everything is somewhat connected to the stem, but nothing is inside the stem. How exactly and all we will understand eventually in due course of our sessions. But kindly understand, we are not talking about small object which can be fit in the stem. This is the entire lotus leaf. If you had the experience of seeing a lake with so many lotuses, the leaf is connected to the stem. It is not inside the stem. It is outside the stem and is very big in compared to the stem and the flower. The leaf is very, very, very huge. So that is what we are talking about here. The leaf is Bhumandala. From the stem comes eventually the other planetary systems. How they manifested, how they came, etc. is the subject matter of 3rd canto. All those details were talked about in the canto 3. So now we are going to talk about only what are they and who are living there, what kind of facilities do they have, etc. So basically, kindly remember that. So when we say top view, that means we go to the top of the universe and look downward. That view will be like this. And when you say front view, we are coming in front of the universe and looking into it straight. So that view will be like this. So these two terminologies are being used in our future conversations, and kindly remember them. So now the description of the Bhumandala. So now we are going to talk about the Bhumandala. This subject matter is being discussed in various chapters. So we'll go in sequence. In chapter 1, Priavrata Maharaj divided this Bhumandala into 7 Dvipas and 7 oceans. That also we discussed how we did. And then chapter 1 to 15 talks about the descendants of Priavrata Maharaj. From this also we take some references here and there wherever it is useful. And then continuing from 16 to 19, out of the 7 islands, the innermost island, the centralmost island is known as Jambudipa. And that Jambudipa, different mountains and different trees that are there within Jambudipa is being discussed in 4 chapters, 16, 17, 18, 19. So in 16, 17, the divisions of Jambudipa and the flow of river Ganga is being presented. In 17 to 19 talks about the residents of Jambudipa are offering their praise to Supreme Lord. They are all presented. In 19, the glories of Bharata Varasha, which is one of the division of Jambudipa, is presented. So we will discuss about all of them in sequence, starting with chapter 16 onwards. And then finally in chapter 20, the remaining 6 islands of the 7. Out of 7 Dvipas, one is Jambudipa. That Jambudipa is discussed elaborately 16 to 19. And the remaining 6 Dvipas are discussed in the 20th chapter, along with their mountains, rivers, and different divisions, etc. etc. Thus, chapter 16 to 90, about 5 chapters are dedicated to describe the Bhumandala. So, good amount of subject matter. So, we'll be discussing over many days, maybe 3-4 days, we'll be discussing about these chapters. So, be patient about what is going to come. So, in our discussion, we'll be using some Sanskrit words. So, sometimes we may use the translated words of those Sanskrit words. Sometimes we may use them directly. So, I try to use as much as possible Sanskrit words only. So, Dvipa. Dvipa means Dvi-apa. That tract of land contains water on both the sides is called Dvipa. A tract of land which has water in the front side as well in the back side, that kind of land is called Dvipa, or we can say island. So in our school text, we have studied that a tract of land that contains water in all 4 directions is called, or in all directions is called an island. That is what we have read. But according to the Puranas, Dvipa is that tract of land which has water in the front side as well as in the back side. Why it is so, we will try to understand in due course of our presentation today itself, why it is so. And another technical reason is that which drinks water from both the sides. It means the earth by nature, it is a combination of multiple earth particles. Earth particle is nothing but dust particle. When you take a fistful of dirt and throw it, it will spread across in the air. But in order to keep all those dust particles together, we need to add some water to it. By adding some water to it, it becomes a solid mud block and remains at one place steadily. Similarly, unlimited number of earth particles which are continuously drinking water from the front side and back side and remain steady. In spite of so much water is being evaporated by sunlight, still it remains steady because it is continuously drinking water from both the sides, from both the water bodies on either side. Such kind of tract of land is known as Dvipa. So this term is used at many places in the Bhagavatam. And then in some chapters, the another term called as Varsha. Varsha is basically a valley between 2 mountains, or it is a valley at the foot of a mountain. Some land which is located between 2 mountains or some land which is located at the base of a mountain is generally called as Varsha. So we will also discuss about Varsha in our future discussions, and we will also show some images what exactly Varsha means. And all measurements of land in the Bhagavatam are in terms of yojanas, not either kilometers with which Indians are familiar, not in miles with which the Americans are familiar, but it is all in yojanas. It is a measurement of distance. An yojana is approximately equal to 8 miles, which is approximately equal to 13 kilometers, because 1 mile is equal to 1.609 kilometers approximately. So whenever in the Bhagavatam yojana is being used, so either we can multiply with 8 in order to get miles, or we can multiply it with 13 in order to get the value in kilometers. and most of the measurements that are mentioned in the Bhagavatam are very huge. So many places we use this suffix capital MY, which stands for 1 million yojana. Or this is, according to Indian familiarity, we can call it as 10 lakh yojanas. So either it could be, we can see it as 10 lakhs or we can see it as 1 million, with which we are familiar. So these are the terminologies which we are keeping, which we keep referring in our future discussion. Dvipa is a land that had water on both the sides. Varsha is a land that had mountains on both the sides or one side at least. And Yojana is the measurement which is equal to 8 miles or 13 kilometers. And most of the measurements are in millions of kilometers, millions of yojanas. And we use capital MY to stand for. So with that background information, we will get into our actual discussion. So we start with chapter 1, where Priavrata Maharaj had divided the Bhumandala into 7 islands and 7 oceans. This subject matter is discussed in verse number 30 to 35 of chapter 1. So before starting this, I would like to take a few minutes in order to hear whether everything is clear till now. If something is not clear, I would clarify, because this is like a background to our entire discussion, like introductory. So if anyone has any doubt or clarification, you can unmute yourself and ask.
Okay, Prabhu, this is Haridas here.
Yes, Prabhu.
Prabhu, I have a question, and definitely not jumping ahead of the topic, but the question is that we see these billions of yojanas which is being used as a metric, which is generally length, and we see in the Vedic system they never cross any other metric except, like in Brahma Samhita they say, the speed of mind. The modern scientists, they use light years. So any reason why the Vedic system and Bhagavatam always suggests us to stick to this only metric, which is of length of yojanas?
See, these measurements are kind of evolved with respect to time. So yojanas is a standard measurement which is used in Vedic texts, but as time progresses, people in their respective locality had a different way of measuring systems. For example, we can take a corollary of the same thing. So we have so many languages all over the world. Every area, every region has a different language, which is entirely different from the nearby area. So that is like kind of privilege given to the people to invent their own language, to kind of invent their own system of standards of living, etc., etc. So like that we can see. So we cannot restrict that everyone should have same measurements or something like that. According to their own choice, they can present in a different way. These are all like kind of evolved in due course of time. But the scriptures are same, they are not changed. So whatever is being talked about thousands of years back, that is what we are reading from Vedic literatures. So this is my understanding about these measurements.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Yes.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Sorry.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Prabhuji. Thank you for whatever we have heard so far. So I just want quick clarification. You said Dvipa is both side water, in the front and the back. But as you said, since childhood, we have learned in school that Dvipa, that is surrounded by water. But that is not true as per the scriptures. The truth is Dvipa means front water and back water, right? Of a piece of land, right?
Yeah. Yes.
So it is not surrounded, not to be surrounded by water.
Both will be true. In a few minutes, I'll show you the images. Then you will understand. It is both front side, back side, as well as it is all around also.
Okay. Okay, bro. Thank you so much.
Yeah. We will understand about it in the first chapter itself.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji, please.
Yeah, thank you so much, Prabhu, for nice explanations. I wanted to ask you something, Prabhu, that devotees keep asking me. I don't know the answer. That about the Karnas of Sai Vishnu lies in the Kajal Ocean or Karna Ocean.
Yes.
So that in some purports or some verses, that is equated to Viraja River, and some places it seems like different. So the question is there any relation between those two, Viraja River and Karnataka Ocean? That is one. And second thing is, where is this located? Is it in material creation or is it in the spiritual world? That's the other question that devotees ask me. I do not know, Prabhu.
Actually, both are same. It is called Karan Arnava or Karna Ocean or Viraja Nadi also. These are different names which are being used at different places. So it is one entity only as different names. And where it is exactly, if I tell you, you will not able to understand, but eventually in our discussion we'll have images. So when those images come, I will explain about it. You can prompt me about it, that time I will explain. When I show the entire universe pictures, that time you can ask me.
Yeah, thank you so much, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
One second, Prabhuji, 1 second. So one simple, as of now, for one simple understanding is that in the video you have seen multitudes of universes coming out of Mahavishnu's body, skin pose. All the universes were actually floating in that Viraja river. And Mahavishnu is also floating on that Viraja river. It is Viraja river or Karana ocean upon which Mahavishnu is taking rest, taking his yoga nidra, and also on top of that universe, on top of that Karana ocean only, all Brahmandas, all universes are floating. So, and in that, within that universe, we are there. Like that, many other universes and many other living entities are there. So that is how we can understand where it is.
Got it, Prabhu. Yeah, thank you so much, Prabhu.
Yeah. Yeah, yes, Prabhu, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
So, Prabhuji, it says Priavrata Maharaj divides the Bhumandala into islands, 7 islands. So, I'm wondering what's the role of Mahavishnu here? I mean, so the creation happened from Mahavishnu, right? So the division also should have happened from the Mahavishnu itself, the division of into various islands. I'm trying to understand.
Why Mahavishnu only has to do everything? Can't he give some service to others? He gave service to Brahma to do creation of different living entities. So like that, he has given some service to Priavrata Maharaj.
Very good. Okay.
So like that, we can see.
All right.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
I have a basic question. So we talk about the stem and the leaf. So the Bhumandala is the leaf and the upper planetary systems would be on the stem. But how about the lower planetary systems? Does the stem extend downwards?
I'm extremely sorry. I will not answer that now. We will discuss about maybe in a couple of days later. I'll show you everything with images. It becomes clear. So for now, our discussion is all about the Bhumandala, which is the leaf. So other than Bhumandala, I'm extremely sorry. I will not talk about any other things. Only when we come to those respective topics, then we will go into elaborate details. So I request all of you to be patient till then. If at all, either you or any other devotees have any curiosity about any other thing. So when the topic comes, that time only we will discuss. As of now, we will be focusing only on Bhumandala.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. We have one more question in the chat. Hare, can you clarify these topography in regard to our solar system that is known to us? It will help in visualizing.
Can you please clarify this topography in regards to our solar system that is known to us? It will help in visualizing. Yes, we will try to see corollaries between our solar system, the modern solar system, with our Bhagavatam. Maybe briefly when we come to part 2 of our presentation, and little more elaborately when we come to part 3 of our presentation, but not in part 1 at all.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu, Dandavat.
Yeah, Prabhuji, in Canto 5, Chapter 1, Verse 30, I had this confusion, Prabhu, always when Priavrata Maharaj divided...
Prabhuji, wait. Prabhuji, please wait.
Yeah.
See, you see the heading of this page? Yeah. Priavrata Maharaj divided the Bhumandala into 7 islands and 7 oceans.
Yes.
Now we are going to discuss about this in great detail for the next half an hour.
Okay. So Prabhu, I will state you my question. So my question is, the division is very clear, Prabhu. But my question is, in this, it said that Priavrata Maharaj became a second son, right? How he became second son, and the lighting the sunlight changed, right? So that part I couldn't understand, Prabhu. So yeah.
Please kindly be patient for the next 30 minutes. We'll see.
Yeah, sure, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, are we done with inquiries? We can move on.
Right. I have one last question. Sorry to interject on this, please.
Please go ahead.
Prabhu, we are mentioning here in the previous slide, Bhumandala and Bhuloka are synonymous. I have just a question that in Prabhupada's mantra, we says Bhutale. So are we talking about the Bhuloka, the earth, or the Bhumandala itself that he appeared?
See, Prabhuji, I have never said till now Bhuloka, the earth. So I will not use in our discussion many places. It may be there in the text as earth. Earth is like a ambiguous term which does not give clarity. Just like the Sanskrit word, we have Atma. In the Bhagavad Gita, Atma is used in many different contexts. Sometimes Atma is used to denote soul. Sometimes Atma is used to denote Ahankara. Sometimes to denote mind. Sometimes as intelligence. Sometimes as the senses. Sometimes as the body. So we need to see the context in which it is being said. Similarly, earth is a very generic term. So when we keep using earth, we don't know what earth is talking about. So I will try to use in our discussion Sanskrit terms only. 90%. Maybe sometimes I may use earth. And because since I've made presentations based on the book, so you may see earth, the word earth in the book, but I used in the brackets Bhumandala or whatever it is being under discussion. So right now we don't know what it is. What is it? So we are just going from step by step from Bhagavatam Canto 5 chapter 1 onwards. So we might have so many things we have heard, read, and did research on in over the period of our life, whatever lifespan we have till now. So I'm 38 years and all of you might be, some of you might be 50, 60 years, whatever it is. Whatever we have learned and whatever we have studied in our school texts or media or from teachers, etc., and our research, etc., for the time being, let us keep it a little far away. And during our discussion, let us not try to compare it, whatever we are discussing. Try not to make that small mistake. Open mind. Let us see what Bhagavatam is trying to tell us. And eventually, by the end of the course, we will also understand what we have studied in the school and where it stands in the descriptions of Srimad Bhagavatam. All such things also will be revealed. And for now, let us not make that one mistake of trying to compare it with what we know. Let us move on with very, very, very open mind. So this is my humble request to all the devotees. Is that okay, Prabhuji?
Yes, Prabhu. That's fine.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. I just have one small doubt.
Yes, Prabhu.
So you showed that the shell of the universe. So in that the Garbhodakshay Vishnu is inside those 7 layers, or he is outside those 7 layers?
Garbhodakshay Vishnu is inside the universe.
Yeah. So he is in. So layers are beyond him, right?
Of course, this picture is an indicator, Prabhuji. Don't see it as it is. Garbhodakshay Vishnu will be inside the universe. The layers are outside. Garbhodakshay Vishnu is inside this Garbhodak ocean. He will be somewhere here, inside this Garbhodak ocean. The universal cells are starting from here.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu. Okay. Now, let us start with our discussion starting from first chapter. So, is the sun stationary or moving? This is one point which is a subject matter of debate for many centuries. And we also discuss about oceans of milk, ghee and curd, etc. as per Bhagavatam Canto 5 chapter 1. So the verses state the wonderful activities performed by Priavrata Maharaj. So now the history begins. Swayambhuva Manu is the direct son of or direct Manasa Putra of Lord Brahma. He was born along with his wife Satarupa. They were married by the order of Lord Brahma, and they begot 5 children: Akuti, Devahuti, Prasuti, 3 daughters, Priavrata and Uttanapada, 2 sons, and the 2 sons were sent to Narada Muni's Gurukul to study. Both of them did complete their education. Priavrata decided to stay on in the ashram, and Uttanapada returned home. Understanding the desire and inclination of Priavrata to continue in the ashram itself, Swayambhu Manu made Uttanapada the next king. And he himself ruled for some time. Then Uttanapada ruled for some time. Then his son Dhruva ruled for some time. Then eventually they, in their lineage, King Anga, King Vena, King Prutu, eventually Prachina Barhi, and then the Prachetas, they all ruled one after the other, one after the other, one after the other for long, long periods of time. The 10 Prachetas had a son. They all married one wife. Just like we see in Mahabharata, the 5 Pandavas married one Draupadi. Similarly, the 10 Prachetas, by the request of Lord Brahma and by the request of Moon God, they married one girl. So, through her, they begot Daksha, had their son. Previously, Daksha was also born at the Manasa Putra of Lord Brahma, but because some problem with Lord Shiva and Daksha's daughter Uma, and Virabhadra killed him, and by the request of Brahma, Lord Shiva revived him by adding goat head to Daksha. Somewhat Daksha understood his mistake, begged forgiveness from Lord Shiva, completed the sacrifice, and everyone went home. So Bhagavatam states that when this yajna was going on, when Parvati igniting fire, when Uma igniting fire burnt herself, and eventually understanding what had happened, in order to kill Daksha, Lord Shiva created Virabhadra, and as Virabhadra came and destroyed the entire fire sacrifice and killed Daksha, this entire event was taking place in the Himalayas, while Prachina Barhi, the father of 10 Prachetas, was ruling the entire Bhumandala. So then the yajna was destroyed, Lord Shiva revived him, then yajna completed, everyone went home, and Daksha left alone at home with a goat head. He could not tolerate that humiliation because he was the highly praised among all the Devata circles, but now he had got a goat head. So because of that humiliation, because of the feeling very bad, he left his body very soon. Then he was born as the son of 10 Prachetas. So 10 Prachetas also ruled for some time. Then they told that, my dear son, please take care of the kingdom. We are going to Vanaprastha order. So they went to Vanaprastha, and Daksha, who was born as the Kshatriya, was not happy with his current condition. He wanted to regain his previous condition. He said, though I was born in your family, but I don't want to become Kshatriya. I want to regain my previous position. With that thought, he went to another forest in order to perform austerities. And there was no one to rule over the entire Bhumandala. Understanding the predicament, Swayambhuva Manu went to the ashram of Narada Muni in order to request Priyavrata, his eldest son, who was still performing austerities in the ashram of Narada Muni. So by now, by the time Swayambhuva Manu went to the ashram of Narada Muni, half of the Swayambhuva Manvantara period had completed. One Manvantara lasts for 71 Chaturyugas. Out of 1000 Chaturyugas of Lord Brahma's day, it has been divided into 14 Manvantara periods. So one Manvantara lasts for a little more than 71 Chaturyugas, out of which half of it is completed. So that means almost 35 to 36 Chaturyugas are completed now. And then Swayambhuva Manu came to the ashram of Narada Muni and requesting his son, come home and take care of the Bhumandala. He said, no, I will not come. Then Lord Brahma came down and he told, so my dear son, or to be more precise, my dear grandson, don't be worried about it. It is Lord's desire that you should come home and take care of the kingdom. And Lord promises that whoever follows his instructions will be delivered. without much worry. You come and take care of the kingdom. Don't worry about getting entangled, etc., etc. So then, accepting the instructions of Lord Brahma, Priavrata came home, gets married, becomes the king of the entire Bhumandala, and starts ruling the entire Bhumandala. And he ruled for 11 Arbuda years. So Bhagavatam says he ruled for 11 Arbuda years. 11 Arbuda years means this much, which is almost equal to 25 Divya Yugas or 25 Chatur Yugas. He led austerities in the ashram of Narada Muni for about 35 to 36 Chatur Yugas. Now another 25 Chatur Yugas he ruled the entire Bhumandala. And during this time, he divided the Bhumandala into 7 Dvipas and 7 oceans. So this is what is being mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Now let us see how did he do it. And then he gave those 7 divisions to his 7 sons. So while I was making this presentation to the students of IIT in Hyderabad, so one of the students asked me, so why did he do only 7 divisions? Why not 6? Why not 8? Why not 10? Something like that. 10 would have been a good number. Why did only 7? So, I don't know, this is not Shastra Pramana. I said, because he had 7 sons, so he need to divide the property among his 7 sons. So he made it into 7 divisions. So he gave those 7 divisions to his 7 sons. That was like fair division by a father unto the sons about his property. So like that we can see. So now, the translations of these shlokas say, Maharaj Priavrata reigned while the sun going around Meru lit up half the surface of the Bhumandala, while the other half was dark. Discontent with this condition, that is half the Bhumandala is bright and other half is dark, thinking that he would make the night into day by his brilliant chariot, which travelled at the speed of the sun, becoming like a second sun, followed the movements of the sun 7 times. The throws created by the wheels of his chariot produced 7 oceans, from which 7 islands were formed. This is what is being stated in the 2 translations of this chapter, 30 and 31. So now let us try to understand the meaning of these 2 translations in pictorial way. So this is the picture which is there in our BBT print. So in the 5th canto volume 2 book, we can see this picture. So here is Mount Meru, which is being talked about here. And here is the sun. Here is the chariot of Priavrata, which is looking like a second sun. So now, kindly remember, I said something about isometric projection, top view, front view, side view, left hand side view, right hand side view, etc. etc. So this is the top view of our entire Bhumandala. This is our 3D universe in which the lower half is filled with water. Exactly above the water, we have the circular green leaf, the lotus leaf, which when you see from the top, it looks like a circular disc. This entire circular disc is that leaf, which we are calling it as a Bhumandala or Bhuloka, etc. At the center of this circular Bhumandala is Mount Meru. So then Bhagavatam says, the sun revolves around this Mount Meru, giving brightness to the half portion of the Bhumandala at any given point of time. Sun starting from here, going around and coming to original position, it takes 24 hours according to our time scale. So this is, for example, if this is morning 6 a.m., something like that. So in 24 hours, he moves around, comes back to the same position. While doing so, in whichever side sun is there, that half portion is bright and other half portion is dark at any point of time. And right now, kindly do not ask me why this half is bright and this half is dark. Because since this entire Bhumandala is like a leaf which is flat, and sunlight can go to this place also. So why this place is dark and why this place is bright, I will only answer by showing some images, maybe after 2 to 3 sessions completed. Then we can appreciate it, why half is dark and half is bright. For now, let us simply concentrate on the divisions of the Bhumandala. So this is how the sun regularly moves day after day after day, from the beginning of the creation to the end of the creation. That means at the beginning of the day of Brahma, this movement of the sun is being settled. And it continues the same movement. And it stops only at the end of the day of Brahma. So at every given point of time, it is like this. But unfortunately, Priavrata Maharaj was not happy with this condition. Why half of his kingdom is bright, at the same time other half is dark? He was not happy with that. So he thought, let me make this darkness into bright, for which he himself expanded as the second sun. Priavrata Maharaj's kingdom is somewhere here. His kingdom is here, very close to Mount Meru. And then one personality is here, and he expanded into second person. And that person is traveling in a chariot, which has got one wheel. And this second person who is seated in this chariot, the entire thing appears to be like another second sun. This is happening by his mystic potency. He is not an ordinary person. He led austerities for 36 Chatur Yugas. Kindly understand what time is that. And is not an ordinary person. He can do it. We can have no doubt about it. So when he became second sun on the other side of the Mount Meru, the remaining half part of the Bhumandala became bright. Now, entire Bhumandala is bright. As sun is traveling in circular way, he is also traveling following the movements of sun, exactly situating himself on the opposite side. Like that, he went in a circular form for 26 days, day after day, day after day. Since he had one chariot wheel, that wheel created a ditch on the surface of the Bhumandala. Because just like when you travel on the same pathway again and again, day after day, there will be a ditch. We can see this. This can be explained in terms of what we can say. In the villages during rainy season, the entire area is covered by grass. When people walk on continuously, that can create a nice pathway. Like that, he did for 26 days. Then he went a little bit away from the current path. As he went a little bit away, he expanded himself into twice the previous size. The reason is, since his kingdom is, of course, his entire kingdom is Bhumandala, but since his capital is here, he wanted to be seen by the people in his capital of the same size. When he was here, he was seen maybe this much size. If the same person goes far distant, he will become small to our eye. But when he goes to the far also, he want to be seen like this much. So in order to have that experience for the people in his kingdom, in his capital city, he expanded himself into 2 times to the previous size. And then following the movements of sun, he also moved around another 26 days. As a result of which, there is second ditch, a circular ditch. Then he moved a little bit away, expanding himself twice the previous size, traveled around, created another ditch for another track, traveling for another 26 days. And then he moved away, expanding twice, created another track of ditch, traveling for 26 continuous days. Then he moved away, following the same way, following the path of sun, traveled for 26 days, because of which he created another ditch. And then finally, like that, one after the other, he did for 7 times. Like that, so there are 7 ditches, the circular ditches were made. Eventually, in due course of time, by the will of the providence, all these 7 ditches were filled with 7 different kinds of waters. So previously it was all one uniform land surface, but because of the ditches, and eventually the ditches are filled with water, the land is separated from the waters. The one land became 7 divisions. See this land is surrounded by water outside also, inside also. So it is like that. Of course, we'll just see through this slide and then we see the names, etc. Thus, Priavrata Maharaj had traveled in 7 chariots, each chariot consisting of 1 wheel. And each chariot is twice to the size of the previous one. As he was going outward, his chariot size is increasing twice to the size of the previous one. Thus, the ocean created each time is twice to the size of the previous ocean. So if you see, this ocean is twice to this ocean, and this ocean is twice to the size of this ocean, because as every time he was going out, his chariot size is increasing, and hence the chariot wheel size also increase, and the ditch created by the chariot wheel also will increase. Everything is in proper proportion. And whatever land left behind because of the moving outside, the width of that land is also equal to the width of the ditch created by the chariot wheel. And this land width is equal to this ditch, and this land width is equal to this ditch, and this land width is equal to this ditch. So this land width is equal to this ditch. So this is a proper order is being maintained by his movement. Thus, each island is of the same size of the ocean. The corresponding island, the corresponding Deepa, its width and the ocean width are also both are same. Thus, he traveled in 7 chariots, which are increasing twice in order, in each chariot for 25.76 days. I just mentioned 26 days, which is close round figure. But in the purport, Acharyas clearly mentioned that it is 25.76 days. Multiplying it with 7 times, we get 180, which is, according to Vedic calculations, half the year. In a year, we have 360 days. So it is half the number of days. So when his journey started? He started his journey on summer solstice. And that journey went all the way up to Pausha Mas. So summer solstice is, in Vedic terminology, it is Karka Sankranti, which generally happens on July 16th or July 17th. And journey continued on till Pausha month, which generally comes in the month of January. That means from July to January, he was gradually traveling from inside to outside, traveling in each circle for 26 days, one after the other. And then he started his return journey from outside to inside. Starting on winter solstice, which happens on January 15th, that is Makar Sankranti being celebrated all over India. And the journey completes in Ashada month, which in July, in the month of July. That means July 16th, the journey completes. And from July 17th onwards, it starts going outward, which goes all the way up to January 14th. From January 15th to July 16th, he starts coming inward. This is how he traveled for the entire duration that he was there, during which there was no night time at all on the surface of the Bhumandala. So like this. So these are the 7 cycles which are created by his chariot wheel. So like that, one after the other, he starts coming inside. So like that, in the remaining time of 6 months, he would come inside. In the next 6 months, go outside. Another 6 months, come inside. Like that, he did for his entire lifespan. And by the will of the Providence, these 7 ditches are filled with 7 types of water. And this became known as sweet drinking water ocean. This became known as emulsified yogurt ocean, like that. And the islands are named as Pushkara Dvipa, Shaka Dvipa, etc. So this is how Priavrata Maharaj had divided the entire Bhumandala into 7 islands surrounded by 7 concentric oceans. Now you see, this is the island, this is the Dvipa, which has water outside, which has water inside as well. And at the same time, it has water on all sides. So this is the meaning of Dvipa in our Vedic literatures. So like that, as long as he lived, 6 months he would go out and 6 months he would come in. And after his tenure was over, when his sons became the rulers, etc., etc., and then we can understand that there was again half the Bhumandala is bright and other half Bhumandala is dark. The day and night concept is continued on after Priavrata Maharaj. But while he was ruling, there was no understanding of night. As you go inside, the 5th one is Milk Ocean, the Krauncha Dvipa, Clarified Butter Ocean, Kusha Dvipa, Liquor Ocean, Shalmali Dvipa, and then Sugarcane Juice Ocean, Plaksha Dvipa, Saltwater Ocean, Jambu Dvipa. The innermost island is known as Jambu Dvipa. In the middle of that Jambu Dvipa, we have Mount Meru. So these are the 7 islands which are created by Priavrata Maharaj. Jambu Dvipa, Plaksha Dvipa, Shalmali Dvipa, Kusha Dvipa, Krauncha Dvipa, Shaka Dvipa, Pushkara Dvipa. Surrounded by 7 oceans: Saltwater Ocean, Sugarcane Juice Ocean, Liquor Ocean, Clarified Butter Ocean, Milk Ocean, Emulsified Yogurt Ocean, Sweet Drinking Water Ocean. And Priavrata Maharaj gave these 7 islands to 7 of his sons: Agnidhara, Idmajiva, Ignabahu, Iranyareta, Gritaprishta, Medatiti, Vitihotra. These are the sons who were given these 7 tracts of land after division. This is what Priavrata Maharaj did. Just out of curiosity, the islands are gradually increasing in the order of twice. 1x, 2x, 2 times 2x, 4x, 2 times 4x, 8x, 16x, 32x, 64x. And the size of the ocean is also same order: 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, etc. So this is how their width we can understand and measure. So these are the 7 islands. They are the 7 oceans. Sharodekshu, Rasoda, Suroda, Grutoda, Kshiroda, Dadimandoda, Shuddhoda, Sapta Jaladaya. So etc. So if you want to understand what would be the outer radius of the 7th ocean, because one after the other is continuing, just a mathematical understanding. The 7th ocean and 7th island are of 64x, 64x. That's why 2 is here. 64 into 2 times, 32 into 2 times, 16 into 2 times, 8 into 2 times, 4 into 2 times, 2 into 2 times. And this is the width of the saltwater ocean. And the complete width of the Jambudvipa is 1x. But we only need to measure from the center of Mount Meru. That will be half x. So the radius would be half x. The total diameter of the Jambudvipa would be 1x. So that's how half x plus x and 2 times remaining all. So the total summation will be 253.5 times x. And later on in 16th chapter, we understand that x is equal to 0.1 million yojanas. That is basically 1 lakh yojanas. And using that, we get the outer radius of the Shuddhoda, the 7th ocean. It is 25.35 million yojanas. And those with curiosity, you can multiply with 8 in order to get in miles, and you can multiply with 13 in order to get in kilometers. So this is about the 7 divisions. And the same things the Prabhupada quotes in Siddhanta, quoting Srila Siddhanta Shiromani in CC Madhyalila, he mentions about this. The Dvipa situated in the middle of salt ocean is known as Jambudvipa. Like that, there are 7 islands or 7 Dvipas surrounded by 7 oceans and are known as Jambu, Shaka, Salmali, Kusha, Krauncha, Plaksha, Pushkara. They are all called Dvipas for they are situated in between 2 concentric oceans. This is a couple of slokas from Siddhanta Shiromani. Prabhupada quotes it in Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhyalila, chapter 20. And finally, the last couple of verses for today's discussion. So in the last 2 verses of this chapter, there is a glorification of Priavrata Maharaj for what he did. Who could perform the actions of Priavrata except the Supreme Lord himself? By the rim of his chariot wheel, he made 7 oceans and destroyed the darkness of night. Because as long as he was there, there was no night at all. He arranged the situation of the Bhumandala for the welfare of the people so that there were divisions and borders for each Dvipa by means of rivers, mountains, and forests. He arranged the Bhumandala with islands and made boundaries by rivers and mountains for the happiness of the leaders of the people so they could exist without quarreling. He created natural boundaries so that the leaders will not fight with each other and hence does not cause discomfort to the people who are living in those respective kingdoms. So from that point of view, it is being described. So he had willingly created natural boundaries so that the people can live happily, the leaders can live happily, etc., etc. So that was all about our Priavrata Maharaj dividing the Bhumandala into 7 divisions. So this is his family tree. Priavrata had 2 wives. So with second wife, he begot 3 sons known as Uttama, Tamasa, Revata, who became the Manus for the 3rd Manvantara, 4th Manvantara, 5th Manvantara. And he married Barishmati, daughter of Vishwakarma. Through her, he begot 11 children, 1 daughter and 10 sons. The daughter was given in marriage to Shukracharya. They begot Devayani, about which Bhagavatam 9th canto talks. And out of 10 sons, 3, Kavi, Mahavira, and Savana became Paramahamsa sannyasis. They stayed in the Gurukul itself. The remaining 7 sons out of 10, they came home. So Father Priavrata had divided property into 7 divisions and gave them to 7 of his sons. So this is a fair deal, the dividing the property into his sons with proper division and proper boundaries, etc., etc. So this is what for today. And in the next class, we will continue our discussion starting from 16th chapter onwards, 16 to 19. The discussion about Jambudvipa will go on. So that is all for today. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for the very detailed class on the full system of cosmology. We are really thankful for giving your valuable time in this call. You're really very helpful, Prabhuji. Thank you so much for your time. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Is it okay? All of you are able to follow?
Yes, yes, Prabhu.
Yeah.
I think now. So slowly, as we have all the doubts, we guess like when we go through all the sessions, we will be able to figure out totally what's the full universe system. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. I request Gail Mataji to go ahead with her question, and next Anuradha Mataji can go ahead.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Yeah, so well explained everything. Just one question about Jambudvip. So it's supposed to be an island. So I'm wondering how that qualifies as an island, since in the middle of Jambudvip, I think you don't find water. You find Mount Meru.
For more information, we will discuss about Jambudvipa maybe in the next class. So right now we'll not talk about Jambudvipa. It is not a good time to talk about it. So, but it is like this. This is the saltwater ocean which is surrounding Jambudvipa. In the middle is Mount Meru. So what Jambudvipa is all about, we will discuss in the tomorrow session.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, please accept my humble obeisances. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Prabhu, I have two questions. Maybe you explained and I missed it. I did not understand. You were saying that he went, Priavrata Maharaj, he went in and again he came out. He went in, again came out. That portion, why did he go out? Why did he not move right? I mean, from there where he was. That part would, if you explain, I have few more questions, Prabhu, after this.
Yeah, that is the will of the Lord. In order to create 7 divisions, you need to go out gradually. First he traveled here, then he traveled here for 26 days, another 26 days here, another 26 days here. If you travel once, you may create a small ditch, but the ditch to be sufficient to hold the water for the entire tenure of the universal maintenance. So you need to create a solid ditch, so for which he traveled for a long time. So that is my understanding.
Morning,
okay, Prabhu. So the next thing, somebody is not muted. The thing is like, we still see that we still have day and night, right? Do we consider this particular thing as a Leela, like we consider many other things? Or what was it like? What was the point, day and night? Because we still have day and night, though for those days there was never any darkness, but we still have darkness now. So how do we understand that?
It was only during the time of Priavrata there was no night at all. But once his tenure was over, when he gave the responsibility to his sons, again the day and night concept again came back. Because when he is not there, his second expansion also is not there. So that is understanding. So how do we understand? I don't have any spiritual pramana here, but we can see through it like this. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Srivasangan, initially few days they were doing kirtan throughout the day. But later on he said that why are we wasting time in the night time sleeping? Let us do kirtan all day, all night. So that since then Srivasangan 24/7 kirtan was going on. So something like that we can see. So Priavrata might have thought that why people are wasting time in sleeping. So he wanted full day throughout the day so that they can practice sadhana properly and go back to Godhead very quickly. That could be like that we can see. There is no spiritual pramana for this, but we can think of like that.
Very beautiful, Prabhu. Very relevant. Thank you so much. And the last thing I want to ask, Prabhu, there is a book by, not by Maharaj, Danavir Goswami Maharaj. He has compiled this book called Commentary on 5th Canto by all the Vaishnava Acharyas. So will that book help additional to this book, the reading Srimad Bhagavatam, Prabhu, because it has commentary by all the Acharyas, Vaishnava Acharyas. So will that supplement this?
It's up to you. I mean, it's up to the interest of the individual devotees. That would cost a lot. I mean, if you want to have it, you can have it. Those who are interested to go through all the Acharyas commentaries, you want to have it, you can have it. It's, I mean, it is of helpful. I don't say it is not of much use, but it will be helpful. But it is up to you. You cannot force upon someone you should read that book, etc. If those who want to know more details, they can purchase.
No, of course, yeah, no, I mean, I have the book because I'm Maharaj's disciple. So, but then I'm not sure whether I should read the book because he personally wants me to read Srila Prabhupada books. But I have that book, and since we are in 5th canto, so I was not, and I'm not I'm not sure if I will be able to comprehend. So I just wanted to take your advice, bro.
No, for understanding this, you can read that. It will be little helpful.
Okay, Prabhu. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Dandavat.
Okay, we are done with the questions.
Yes, Suresh Shyam Prabhu can go ahead. There are 2 more questions, Prabhuji, if you have time.
Yeah, quickly. I'm sorry, today I have another class at 7:30. It's almost 7:30. If you have any questions, quickly. Tomorrow we can take questions.
Yeah.
Sure.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. That Priavrata Maharaj question I had for a long time, and it clarified that doubt, Prabhu. Thank you very much, Prabhu, for all your systematic presentation. The book and the YouTube channel really helped to understand this Bhagavad Cosmology. And thank you very much, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. I'm sorry.
We will end here, Prabhuji. We'll pay our obeisances. Vancha kalpatarubhascha kripa sindhu
Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha.
Prabhupada ki Jai. Srimad Bhagavatam.
Jai. Hare
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you,
Thank you so much,
Prabhuji. Thank you very much. Thank you everyone for joining today's class. We'll meet again tomorrow. Hare Krishna. Closing the call.